Hello, I am Gallifane, and this video will continue my Races of Arda playlist by covering orcs and goblins. First, I want to clarify that goblins and orcs are the same creatures and will be used interchangeably in this video. Goblin is just the Hobbit's word for orc, as we see in The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings. Chapter 3 of the Silmarillion says the most on the beginning of the orcs. Here is a very useful quote from the Silmarillion. But of those unhappy ones who were ensnared by Melkor, little is known of a certainty. For who of the living has descended into the pits of Utumno, or has explored the darkness of the counsels of Melkor? Yet this is held true by the wise of Eressea, that all those of the Quendi who came into the hands of Melkor, ere Utumno was broken, were put in prison, and by slow arts of cruelty were corrupted and enslaved. And thus did Melkor breed the hideous race of the Orcs, in envy and mockery of the Elves, of whom they were afterwards the bitterest foes. For the Orcs had life and multiplied after the manner of the Children of Iluvatar, and naught that had life of its own, nor the semblance of life, could ever Melkor make since his rebellion in the Ainulindale. And deep in their dark hearts the Orcs loathed the master whom they served in fear, the maker of their only misery. This, it may be, was the vilest deed of Melkor, and the most hateful to Iluvatar. To summarize, the Quendi were captured by Melkor, taken to Utumno, and twisted into orcs. However, we can go far deeper than that in the text. We see that orcs are made in mockery of the elves, and to destroy them. Morgoth, like Sauron, very much wanted to destroy the elves completely. But before Utumno was broken, Melkor stashed away many of his orcs, and they multiplied there as well. After Morgoth was captured his first time, the orcs became nothing but a nuisance. J.R.R. Tolkien hinted a few times that the orcs might have been cannibals, but we have no direct evidence. However, the topic of cannibalism raises a question. How did the orcs not starve while in the pits of Utumno? It is possible that they had something to hunt, but that is not mentioned at all in the Legendarium, unlike cannibalism. When Merry and Pippin are captured by the orcs, Ugluk said, quote, "Swine, is it? How do you folk like being called swine by the muckrakers of a dirty little wizard? It's orc flesh they eat, I'll warrant." In this context, it is used very much as an insult. In one of their greatest battles with the orcs, the dwarves burned their dead, which they did not normally do. From then on, the dwarves would insinuate honor of their ancestors by saying, "He was a burned dwarf." Perhaps the orcs have a similar but dishonorable history of cannibalism, and true to their nature, it has survived as an insult. After Morgoth returned with the Silmarils, the orcs were unleashed on Beleriand and killed Denethor. Then Thingol defeated the orcs. They seemed to fester in a certain area, and only attacked those near them. After the War of Wrath, most of the orcs died. Tolkien said, quote, "The uncounted legions of orcs perished like straw in a great fire, or were swept like shriveled leaves before a burning wind." Indeed, every occasion following such a paramount defeat, the orcs scatter. We see this in the Battle of the Five Armies and after the Quest of the Ring. Tolkien describes the orcs as hateful in every way, and there are no documented orcs that were not this way. Orcs lived in tribes, and only the strongest of them would lead. Civil wars in the orc tribes came often, and though we do not know how long the average orc lives, it is assumed to be about 80 years. Of course, this does not factor in the huge mortality rate of orcs, which is extremely high. Orcs are a good deal shorter than men, yet far larger than hobbits, as we see in The Lord of the Rings. The appearance of orcs varies greatly, but is typically sallow or black. In addition to the normal orcs, there were made many other types years later, but you're gonna have to wait for another video for that. This channel is the Astari, and each Monday I delve into a topic from The Lord of the Rings. Every Sunday I cover the recent happenings with the adaptations from The Lord of the Rings. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to know when the next video in this series drops. Nai ayin neryo in Niaglar.